Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to answer which is the better stock to buy, Roblox or Skillz. Now these two growth companies have something in common, something unique in common I'm going to talk about a little bit later in the video. You're not going to want to miss that part of the video. And then at the end of the video I'll answer which one is the best one to buy. Of course you're not going to want to miss that. So to begin with, I wanted to look at their revenue over the trailing 12 months. And going back to 2020 and 2021, these two had closer revenue generation. Skillz was around 300 million, while Roblox was around 800 million. So Roblox was about two or three x the revenue of Skillz, and then they just diverged completely. Roblox jumping to 2.2 billion, Skillz kind of staying flat and coming down a little bit to 269.71 million. Of course, they were both beneficiaries of the stay-at-home trend during the pandemic. The one thing that's incredibly different is since the economic reopening, Skillz has suffered significantly while Roblox has kind of sustained its revenue growth. It's had trouble with on the expense side, but revenue has persisted higher for Roblox. That's one area of difference. The next thing I wanted to compare is the operating profit margin over the trailing 12 months. You can see both of these companies are negative and not moving in the right direction here. Roblox losing 41.5% in operating profits over the trailing 12-month period. Skillz, meanwhile, losing 93.92% operating margin in the trailing 12 months. Interestingly, Skillz has finally made a big strategic change. Most of this money that Skillz loses on the bottom line they spend on sales and marketing expense, and finally they slashed that budget. They've reduced that sales and marketing expense, and I suspect that in the next quarter, if they don't re-up that budget, their operating profit margin is going to make a big jump upwards, unless they of course bring back that sales and marketing uh, budget back to where it was. So keep that in mind and look at Skillz operating profit margin in the next quarter. I'm forecasting it's going to have a big improvement. And if it doesn't, you could come back to me and say, wait a minute, Parkev, what happened? You were saying Skillz profit margin was going to improve, but it didn't. And if it didn't, it's most likely because they increased the sales and marketing budget. And if it didn't, and it's for another reason, I'm going to be surprised and I'm really going to want to dig into what that was. Meanwhile, Roblox operating profit margin negative 41.5%. For Roblox, the primary reason why operating profit margin is negative is because of big allocation to stock-based compensation. They use a lot of that and they've diluted shareholders considerably over the years. So that's bringing down its operating profit margin. Um, Interestingly enough, this is what I was talking about earlier when I said I'm gonna mention something they do have in common is they both outsource game development. They both outsource game development. So the games that you see on Roblox and on Skillz are mostly developed by third-party developers and they put it on the platform Roblox and Skillz, and they receive a percentage of the revenue that those games generate. So if these developers create a flop, they don't get any money. Roblox and Skillz don't get any money, but at least Roblox and Skillz didn't spend money or time or energy, while the developers did spend time, money, and energy, so they absorbed those losses. I like that as an investor. I like that business model because it shifts the risk to third party developers and it also incentivizes them to create hits because if they do, they're going to make a lot of money in the process. I like that better than hiring developers on staff because then they're paid a salary regardless of whether they create hits or not, and it can be difficult to fire them and they can make just enough, you know, productivity to keep them on board, but they never really generate those big hits. So I prefer this outsourcing model. Here's another area of difference when we look at cash flow from operations in the trailing 12 months. Roblox is significantly positive, generating 369 million in cash flow, while Skillz lost 179 million in cash flow from operations over the trailing 12 months. So a big difference there between these two companies in terms of cash flow from operations. And if we compare cash flow from operations to revenue, cash flow from operations, keep these numbers in mind. Specifically, keep in mind Skillz number 179 million it lost in cash flow from operations over the trailing 12 months, and it only brought in revenue of 269 million in that same time. So on revenue of 269 million, the company lost 179 million. I don't like that ratio, especially because the company outsources game development. If I saw this ratio, but I knew that the company was developing uh, games itself, if it was spending a lot on research and development, I would be more okay with this. But since I know that Skillz, the primary reason why they lost this much cash is because they spent money on sales and marketing, and that didn't work out too well, I'm less inclined to give them a pass because of that. So this is a big negative for me when I'm evaluating Skillz compared to Roblox. And finally, I wanted to compare these two on valuation using the forward price to sales ratio because Skillz is negative in terms of cash flow and profits, so I couldn't use the price to earnings or price to free cash flow, and I didn't want to use enterprise value valuations just to simplify things, and I wanted to keep it simple with the forward price to sales ratio. So this is how much you're paying for how much sales you're getting from the company. So you're comparing the market price of the stock to how much sales the company is going to bring in over the next year, and you're seeing what multiple you're paying. So with Roblox, you're paying almost 6 times the price of Skillz because Roblox is 6.4 price to sales. Skillz is 1.2 price to sales. That's like saying you go to the store and you see a bottle of soda, 2 bottles of soda, and 1 bottle of soda is selling at 6 times the price of this other bottle of soda. That's the difference here. You're getting a lot less for your money when you're buying Roblox compared to if you're buying Skillz. However, sometimes it's justified to pay a higher price for that other product, right? If that soda tastes so much better than this other soda, then you're willing to pay that higher price. And in this case, Roblox business is so much better than Skillz business that I'm willing to pay this premium price for Roblox over Skillz because Roblox has proven it can generate hundreds of millions of free cash flow running its business, while Skillz has yet to prove that. So I don't know even yet if Skillz can ever be a self-sustaining business without losing so much money on the bottom line. I don't know if they can or can't because I haven't seen them do it yet, whereas I've seen significant evidence from Roblox. So for that reason and the reasons why I covered in this video, if I had to pick one of these two stocks, I would buy. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now. Roblox. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate your viewership. I hope you'll come back again next time for another one of my videos. See you then. Roblox.